What is the Grail Within? How do we access it? How do we activate it? And what does this have to do with the serpents, the six-pointed Star of David, the Christ consciousness, and the New Earth timeline? My name is David Farrell, and I'm here today as part of the co-founding team of QPW to help you understand why.
Hi, I'm Bella Alvaran. Welcome to this new video.
All right, so welcome back everybody to another energy update here from QPW, quantumplanet.world. We've been putting out these different energy updates, Bella, for about the last, almost 2 months now actually, in conjunction with our Sunday astral clearing and teaching sessions, but also as a way of sharing the pulses that we've been taking over the last few weeks with the sessions, but also in our personal lives, and also sharing some of our own unfolding journey as we navigate through the New Earth timeline, which is basically uncharted territory for all of us, right, Bella?
Right, so for the last 7 weeks we've been doing clearings on Sundays. This week is going to change to Saturday because of birthday reasons. But it's been a very powerful series of clearings and teachings that have been coming through.
Right, so we want to start today's energy update, and we'll try and keep this video as succinct as possible, but there are quite a few things to share today, so we're going to try and work through those in a coherent and concise manner. But first of all, we just want to have a quick look at some of the energies of the moment, and we're going to be talking a lot about presence and being in the moment today, as we often do, but it's become even more important for reasons we're going to share. But what we can share is what's already in the collective awareness, however we understand these things, and we're still asking some questions around that too. But we've had lots of solar flares, lots of solar activity, lots of solar storms. We are now into Scorpio season in the Western tropical astrological system. We have a new moon in Scorpio coming up. Today is Samhain, or Halloween, as it's known in some parts of the world. And we just had a six-pointed star initiated, incidentally, on my own birthday, the 28th of October, which is now coming to its final sort of energetic pass, which is in itself a very, very interesting astrological alignment, and actually quite rare also.
Yeah, so it's felt like a series of reset points. With Samhain and Beltane in the southern hemisphere, it feels like with the new moon in Scorpio, everything is ready to go into this very important culmination part of the bigger process, which is going to take 2 to 3 months. But this week seems to be a very important one going into it.
Right, so we're just gathering some of the threads here really to give the container in which this energy update has been given, what we're also going to be sharing moving forwards, because we've come to a very important point. And one of the things that we've been doing with our Sunday sessions, or which is going to be Saturday this week, but more on that later, but with our Sunday sessions is first of all clearing the energy fields of not just the people on the live call, but many other beings involved in the process too. And in doing so also having sharing sessions, where are people at right now, what's been going on for them, what's been going on for us also, because we're all in this together. And that's also something we want to talk about maybe in future videos, is that we all stay together. This is actually a motto of one of the indigenous tribes here in Texas, but it's also the Tonkawa people, and we're going to be sharing more about their history, what they're up to right now, because it feels very, very relevant to this moment to reconnect to our indigenous nature, and also the energy of many of these indigenous people and what they stand for, because where one goes, we all go. We've been saying that for weeks now. So we are in the energy of the red magnetic serpent in the Mayan time and continuum. And Bella, would you like to share a little bit about that energy?
Yeah, so what it feels like is that this very powerful wave spell, which is the red serpent, and it's been giving us the initiation and the possibility to shed our skin, to be somebody that we've been building ourselves for a long time, and now we can allow ourselves to shed that old skin and step into the new process. Who do you want to be in New Earth? What do you want to do? Do you want to shine your light? So we've been going through a series of initiations, and this one has been a really big one, a moment of rebirth, and it is happening now with this new moon, is what the feeling of it is. It's like with the energy of Scorpio and the energy of the serpent, we're being allowed to be rebirthed into what we want to be.
Right, and so we have explored a little bit about this topic in the previous New Earth Quantum Compass as part of our transition through looking at various astrological systems. We're still working very much with the Mayan wave spells, and the Serpent is about many things, all of which we're going to share more in our next Quantum Compass edition, which will be out either later today or tomorrow, where we're looking at the energy of the Serpents in general. But what we can say is very connected to Kundalini, very connected to DNA, very connected to our Nibiran stroke Anunnaki ancestors, very connected to this time of year, very connected to the Serpent's constellation, very connected to the missing 13th sign of the zodiac of Fucus, who holds the Serpent. So this is a rich moment for us all to be shedding skins and actually maybe stepping into something that is new. But in doing so, we are forced to confront the things maybe from the past that need to be let go of, identities that need to be let go of, missions that maybe have come to an end and need to be let go of. And in doing so, we've encountered both within ourselves at different points, but also judging from the feedback from our groups, a number of different sensations that have perhaps seemed slightly disorientating to many of us. So we're going to explore all of those in a minute, but as part of this, the skin shedding, and also as a way of showing the rise of the Kundalini energy, I'd like to share a little clip here that we took on my birthday from a site that is very connected to the Christ consciousness, and is really also a way of saying thank you to each and every one of you who've contributed to my own healing process this year, because as you'll see in the video that we're about to share here in this clip, something really miraculous has happened, something remarkable has happened, and I'm now able to walk again almost pain-free and without crutches. I still have some healing to do, I still have rehabilitation to do, but this is actually a magical point that I imagined and even time traveled to about 6 to 8 months ago on numerous occasions, and to actually arrive in a place that you had dreamt about with the person that you wanted to be and all of the other energy for my birthday and the location is truly a remarkable thing that we're going to be exploring more in future shows about how to time travel and how to use healing. So please enjoy this clip, everybody, and we'll see you in a couple of minutes on the other side. Hey everybody, today is my birthday and here we are in a location in Texas that came to us almost overnight, and my healing has gone really well, and now, as you can see, I can walk without my crutches.
Going around the world.
Let's see.
Literally. Good one. Well done, baby.
One more round.
Good one. No swagging again. No swagging again. Okay?
See. Alright, welcome back everybody, and thank you for just taking time to watch that beautiful clip. I really do mean it. Thank you so much to everybody who's been on this journey over the last 8 months, part of my healing journey, because it's all brought all of the things we're talking today about into more succinct awareness. And of course, I most of all want to thank my beautiful partner Bella here, who's helped guide me and heal me and assist me and support me all of the way in numerous ways that really required a very multidimensional approach and understanding, all of which has been part of my healing journey too. So I share this really as a thank you, this video, but also as a way of showing what can be possible when we work with mind-time technology, when we're able to keep letting go and really go deep within ourselves to understand our own multidimensional nature, and to see even terrible accidents actually as a blessing that have allowed many other aspects of my own DNA to get released, all of which is pretty far out, but then I am a cosmic Skywalker, so hopefully you wouldn't expect anything less. So where should we go from here, Bella, on today's journey?
So first of all, it is amazing that this happens during the wave spell of the Serpent, which is about awakening our life force and reinventing ourselves. And also, as we just finished the 13 chapters of the Navigation Guide to Quantum Consciousness, which is also about omnipresence. Once we're here in the moment we were dreaming about, and we set as a goal 13 chapters ago.
Steps even.
Yeah, steps. to be able to experience it now is absolutely amazing. To be able to be together, see David walking, and everything else that we put into our dream. So that's part of the navigation guide and the kind of steps you can take to achieve your dreams or your goals.
And what I would like to share mostly is that I had quite a few ups and downs, accelerated points of healing. I was actually able to walk 3 months ago, and then I had to take a few sideways steps, much to my own frustration really, with lots of pain that came through. But that was also a way of my body showing me that there were still some unresolved issues. Deep-rooted soul issues, things that were really beyond this lifetime, but required me to sit and meditate my way through. But when we came to the Serpent Wave spell, suddenly there was an acceleration, partly because I also put the intention at the end of the last wave spell. I really want to be fit and strong and well and really present in my body, which is not something I've been able to do for over a decade now, before this accident. So this really then takes us into the place of what we want to share more about today, and which we shared at the beginning, which is really how does this relate to the serpent beings, to the Kundalini, to the male and female, to the Yeshua, Magdalene, Jesus and Mary energy. How does that take us to Christ consciousness, the Star of David, and what's coming next?
Right, so we are going to cover the more astrological side and mythology side in the quantum compass, because we're researching Ophiuchus and the Serpent's constellation and the 13 signs and the sidereal astrology. All of that we're going to talk there. But here what we want to connect is how the energy of the serpent, both masculine and feminine, which is reflected within us with our Kundalini energy, can take us to that point of connection to Christ consciousness, which is the next step moving forward now that we're walking into new earth.
Right, so the reason this is important, maybe it's not in so many of your awareness, maybe if you've done Stellar Nations pathway, either with ourselves on QPW or with the wonderful people from Hungary, you might be aware of this. But interestingly, in the Scorpio season, the sun actually passes over the Crew constellation, of which is really 4 major stars. And those 4 stars hold the pillars of, we can say, the sacred temple of the Christed consciousness. But in order to get to that place, the serpents, the male and the female, in their intertwined state in the caduceus, have to be in balance, both individually, and if you're in a partnership, as we are, they also have to be balanced in the partnership. And so what we have been realizing through the energy of, in some ways for me, my healing, but also our birthdays, because on my birthday on the 28th, the sun hits the first part of the Crew constellation, and on the second part of the Crew constellation, which comes up around Bella's birthday in a few days, the sun will also hit the second part. Now, that doesn't apply just to us, it applies to many of you out there too, but we're sharing this because it's part of our own journey that's making sense to us as we balance out our masculine and feminine energies within ourselves, as we allow our Kundalini, our serpent energy to become more manifest. And for me, that involves letting it actually flow through my body to let me heal. But also that takes us into the sacred center of the Christed temple, right, Bella?
Yeah, let me just share the 4 main stars of the Christ consciousness. Delta Crucis at 5 degrees of Scorpio, Gacru, which is at 6 degrees of Scorpio, Becru, which is at 11 degrees of Scorpio, and Acru, which is at 11:30 of Scorpio, also around 11.
Right, so as you can see, the first set of stars are really around the 5 and 6 degree of Scorpio, which has just passed over, or the sun has just passed over in the last few days at the beginning of this week, with the beautiful 6-pointed star of David coming through, as we can say, a template on the 28th. So there's a lot of very strong biblical energy here. We are going to be upfront about that. We are in the realms of the Christed consciousness, of the end times, of the biblical times, of Adam and Eve, of the serpent. And there is a reason for that, because it's a part of our own cosmic, karmic history and story of our own DNA, of our own soul's journey that wants to be further illuminated. There are many terrible things that have happened over the last 2,000 years with, we can say, a deliberate inversion of the 6-pointed star of David, the inverted cross energy that was placed onto that. It was very clear at the site we went to this week what had actually happened, how the energy of the cross, really a portal energy, we can say, has been inverted with an overlay of, we can say, a different type of energy which we've all been living through with the crucifixion images in our sacred temples, otherwise known as churches, for the last 2,000 years. That energy has had to be lifted away because it has prevented the age of, we can say, the Pisces Pisces energy, or the Christed consciousness energy, really being able to manifest. And that has also, as I'm sure many of us can understand, actually created very strange imbalances between the masculine and feminine energies.
And also it has put the idea that the temple is a building or is outside of things. And we need to understand our body and our energy is the temple, is the grail, is the vessel, is where we integrate all of our galactic codes and the galactic history that we have, all of our experiences and evolution, so that we keep on ascending. But it's in the body that we carry at the moment that we are doing all of this process.
Right, so this brings us to the title grabbing headline. So what is the Grail Within? Well, the Grail Within is the balancing of these 4 star energies, really the manifestation of balanced masculine and feminine. You don't have to have these stars in you to be able to balance the energies themselves, but what we are sharing is that this is a great time to do this. We have the energy of the serpent, we have Samhain, the veil is thin, we have the transformational energy of Scorpio season, we also have the 4th turtle moon of the owl, as we shared in the previous quantum compass. So there is a big energy of the astrals, of the third eye, of the veil being lifted. And when the veil is being lifted, we get to see really many things that may be amazing, but also slightly shocking. And I think that that is a process that we are collectively in already, and that we need to be okay with. This is part of our own soul's journey. It's part of our collective consciousness story. And, there are many, I would suggest, beings out there who have long pointed the finger and said it's these guys' fault that we are disconnected, that we're going through many problems, particularly in certain parts of the world like the Middle East. And we can say that's part of history. Deliberately, consciously, unconsciously, it's all in the stream of Creator. So these are the energies that we're looking at this time, and how to not get stuck in those energies, but to alchemize out of them by becoming the Grail Within.
Yeah, so that's what the serpent wave spell and energy has been asking us to do, because part of the energy of Scorpio, the lower archetype is the serpent. And then we go to the Scorpio, the phoenix and the eagle. So what it's been asking us, and this season is going to ask us to do, is have you learned to transmute your shadow? Have you been able to look at all of the darkness that needed to be addressed and alchemize it and transcend it? But first you need to look at it and accept what it is, so that you can then turn it into something that is of a higher vibration. So I think this is the job for the next few days. Integrate that energy, and it's coming at the whole season up to the end of November. We're going to be feeling all of this energy. Integrate the serpent, integrate the shadow, integrate, do you know how to deal with your sexuality and your sensuality, so that you take it to a point of creativity and passion, rather than the lower nodes and using it for not very good purposes, obviously.
So yeah, with that in mind, Bella, would you like to share just a little bit more about the energy of the 6-pointed star? Because we covered it in chapter 6 of the navigation guide, and it's about balance, and seems very relevant to this moment.
Yeah, so the 6-pointed star is one of the topics of chapter 6 of the navigation guide to quantum consciousness. And there we talk about sacred geometry and how you have the two triangles, which symbolize the masculine and the feminine, forming a Merkaba, or a 6-pointed star, and how that is a point of balance of masculine and feminine to create what comes next, to be part of that Christ consciousness and elevate to the next dimension.
Right, so what is the point of all of this? Great, we've integrated our serpents, we're looking at our kundalini, we've balanced, we've now come to a place, perhaps we can say, of divine feminine and sacred masculine, Magdalene and Yeshua. So what comes next, Bella? Where are we now? I guess we're stepping onto a new earth timeline.
So that's when we go towards the Christ consciousness, which is the energy of, that we are all part of the new seeds, the star seeds that have come to do this work now of a new earth. So there were blueprints eons ago for this planet, and because of everything that we've talked about, there have been so many inversions throughout the time, but we've learned, thanks to free will, thanks to going down different and difficult experiences, and now we're activating the next part of ourselves that allows us to be these light beings that we came to be, and at this moment help the majority of people transcend, because we're all coming together to this next point of the evolutionary steps.
Right, so just maybe as also a way of reflecting on some of the energies of the last week or so, a lot of people have experienced what they would call the nullness or the emptiness, maybe even ranging from that point of view into futility, desperation, despair. How are we going to get through this? Seems like the masses don't want to shift. And those are reflections that we've had ourselves in different ways, from our own meditations, but also from doing our clearing sessions with our tribe on the weekends and hearing the feedback from everybody. And we just want to make a comment on that because it's kind of sat with us, and many of us within our tribe have been pondering on this kind of sense of the emptiness. Well, the emptiness is the emptiness. It's kind of an aspect of the fifth dimension that can be a little shocking because we're so used to the drama of emotions, our fourth dimensional selves, normally on the lower end with firefighting, challenges that we have to get through, and occasionally we probably feel like we have moments where we hit the bliss and the joy and the happiness, but it's a bit of a roller coaster effect. Well, you know, here on New Earth, we are understanding that when we hit these frequencies, rather than freak out and reach for something that feels familiar, that could feel like the drama, because, you know, better the devil you know than the devil you don't, maybe the option is actually to say, hey, I've got an opportunity to fill this vessel, my sacred vessel, my sacred grail, with something different. What is that? What is the impulse? What is the inspiration that I want to bring? Well, perhaps for some of us, on the journey, we've been so involved in the mission to free Earth, to free ourselves, that maybe that's all we remember is the mission. Maybe now we are coming off mission, particularly for those of you that follow Stellar Nations. Maybe this has been part of your Pegasus mission, is to catalyze or to share the message of Creator, of God. However, maybe that mission has finished now and we're being invited into a different space, and it's momentarily disorientating because we're not sure what our world looks like without our mission, right, Bella? So, you know, these are some of the things that have been coming up for our, you know, our tribe members, our community, and also ourselves in different ways. And we want to share some ideas here, also with what we have planned for quantumplanet.world or QPW in the coming weeks and months, as we ourselves start to explore what it's like to be in a new Earth cuboid timeline or frequency, where we can shed our skins of the past, of the old pain timelines, of karma that has now been resolved, and we can step into being something that maybe is completely different if we're brave enough to take that opportunity.
Yes, I think after all of these process, we feel like we'll go into a hibernation process where we put all of the projects and ideas together for the next 3 months or so. Well, a lot of the systems are collapsing and the masses are going through their awakening process. In the meantime, we can be allowed to dream and do self-nurturing, self-love, so that we can then start creating all of these beautiful things that we've been dreaming about.
Right, and one of the other things that's been coming up, which leads us back to the Christ consciousness really, and what does that give us the benefit of, is really, you know, perhaps being ensconced in our communities, you know, the people that we follow, the people that we connect with, which is perhaps more multidimensional, more New Earth focused, and then perhaps having the stark realization when we put one of our other feet back into the very 3D mundane world that is inhabited with lots of people that are perhaps not in the same space as us. It's becoming a little jarring and difficult to cross sometimes, maybe particularly with loved ones, friends, family, colleagues, etc. So this is where the energy of compassion, of non-judgment and understanding that many beings are stuck in the perception of chaos, and they would rather still subscribe to the old paradigm, even though that they know it keeps them in servitude and slavery and all of the things that we understand. It's something they understand, and to let go into their perception of chaos is something that they find even more frightening than the system they've been in. And I think that, speaking for myself, that's definitely something that's come to me over the last week, and I've had to sit with, and it's brought up this sense of, I cannot judge anybody for that place. They haven't done the inner work. I don't know how their journey is going to go, and it's really not for me to say. I haven't asked anybody to interfere in my journey. I've asked for lots of people to help, and some of the advice I took, and some of it I didn't. And I guess that we should all see the world as our mirror, which is interesting because it's the next wave spell coming in, and to understand truly what is in Lakesh. I am another you, and to understand that some part of us is still in all of those people who are stuck in that space, and we should be compassionate for that part of ourselves, because the world is a reflection, and as we've been saying, we all stay together. Where one goes, we all go.
So yeah, super excited to see this next part of the process. Many of you will probably need to step into your healer training, or all of the tools that you've been learning. Is the moment to start helping the majority do their initiation, their awakening, their next step into evolution towards becoming a light being.
Right, and this is the beautiful and often overlooked thing I think about the serpent or snake beings, is that really on the female serpent side, the ultimate high notes of that is alchemy and healing, and on the high notes of the male serpent, it's really about magic and teaching. And if we can harmonize those qualities within ourselves by balancing our own inner serpent, masculine and feminine, male and female energies, then those of us that have reached this point on the journey and are observing what is going on around us, maybe with a new mission imperative to do things differently, we can perhaps start to share our wisdom, our healing skills in ways that can be born of our own personal experiences and understanding the suffering that others may be going through at this time as they go through the wake-up process themselves. Because yeah, where one goes, we all go, and that is a bodhisattva vow. For those of you that understand Buddhism, we come back to liberate all beings in this cuboid of the universe, because that's what we all agreed to do. And so it would seem a little bit churlish of us to say, hey, you know what, I'm all right, Jack, I've done my bit of work, and you guys, you can work it out for yourself, I'll see you later. All of which could be quite tempting in some ways, particularly when we're having to navigate the more dense 3D reality that is still existing around many of us. But that will lift, and the sun, the creator of our universe, we can say in many ways, is assisting in that process, Bella, right, with all of the solar flares and geomagnetic storms.
And it's understandable that there is a lot of resistance to change, resistance to letting go of the previous systems that we've been living, whether it's education, the type of work you've been doing, or anything connected to the old system. It is a time to let go, but we know it's not going to be simple, or it's not going to happen from one day to another. It's going to be a process, and the chaos energy or the storm energy is here to help us catalyze that. Many of us have been catalyzers for a long time, but now we have the storm energy and the solar flares bringing more of that energy to help us get to that point. And the storm energy is going to be here until next year, July, but we do see these next 2 to 3 months being the most intense for the collective.
Right, so with all of this in mind, we just want to take these last few minutes really to share with you a number of offerings that we have already put out but maybe you're not aware of, and a couple of new options also to help all of you with the various things that we've talked about, because we understand that everybody is at different points in the journey. And you know, we spent a lot of the last couple of years working with plants for healing through quantum plant healing, and I've shifted focus perhaps over the course of this year more to, well, what happens when we sort of get to a place where we've almost done most of the healing on the inner planes at the energetic level. Well, maybe then we still need to go through some physical healing, as I can testify to, and I'm sure many of you out there too, because we want to really be in a place of complete embodiment. We might have done the rewiring of our different strands of DNA, all of which is beautifully mapped out in the Stellar Nations pathway. We might also come to some realizations about reality or the nature of time through perhaps working with Bella's Mind, Time and Magic course, or the Navigation Guide to Quantum Consciousness, or maybe these are new ideas that have not come to you at all. So with some advice from a mentor, the Ascended Master Zach, channeled by our friend Janet, we've been advised over the next sort of, we can say, the winter period, we in the Northern Hemisphere, to hunker down, to hibernate, and to get into something that inspires us. And we're inviting all of you who maybe reached this point on the journey wondering what next is, well, start breaking down your sense of self. Who are you? What is your DNA? How does it relate to your cosmic self? You know, many people out there are wanting to get activated and reconnect to their star self, and it's like, well, we already have all the technology here, it's within us. We have to keep going further and further within, and the plants have always been an assistant guiding bridge technology, we can say, to assist us with that, but we still have to engage in the material, and that's where having our cosmology through the Antares star codes, or looking at our astrology, whether it's the Western or the sidereal, which is something that we're looking at, and that's going to be part of our focus over the next couple of months, is that as we leave behind some old aspects of ourselves, maybe in this case very scorpionic selves of transformation, doesn't necessarily fit to continue in that vein anymore. And maybe some of you out there are finding that you also want to really change who you are, to shed that skin. So we are having a really big Samhain birthday sale, we can say, on QPW, just for a week, to cover both my birthday and Bella's birthday, so really up until the 4th/5th of November. And there are up to 50% off most of the courses there, including the Sacred Art of Geomancy,
The Mayan Time and Magic course.
And the Path of the Jaguar, and also the Stellar Nations pathway. So there's plenty of material there, and I know we've said all of this before, but we're sharing it because we've worked with that material ourselves, and it's got us to where we are today. It got me to where I was in that video earlier because I worked with all of those technologies, all of the amazing information from my DNA, through my Antares code, through Bella's really deep explanation of not just Mayan time through the glyphs, but also the 13 steps of manifestation and creation. And we have come to this point today as we are very close to the end of the rollout of chapter 13 energetically for ourselves, which is all about the power of presence and being in the present moment. And when you're in the present moment, you start to realize that the past is already behind you, and if you've healed it, you don't need to be living it anymore. But it also opens up the future, which is something we've already probably time traveled to through our dreams and visions, and bringing it into the present moment. So this is really, really exciting stuff. So just wanted to alert all of you to that opportunity. Also to remind all of you that we have another astral clearing and teaching session coming up this Saturday, because of course it is Bella's birthday on Sunday, so we're otherwise engaged. So this week's clearing session will be on Saturday, the 2nd of November, which is also the beginning of the new wave spell of the White Mirror, which we're going to share more about in Quantum Compass later. But it's also an opportunity for you all to connect with us. It's going to be 11 a.m. Central Time, Texas. The clocks do go back, I think, here in the US on Sunday, and they already went back in Europe, but do check your local times. So in those sessions, we do a very powerful, a collective energy that allows us to really, without getting into everybody's personal stuff, to remove the heavy duty stuff that is preventing perhaps some of you from moving into the place to really let go of the past and to reconnect with your DNA. And we've also come up with something else, right, Bella, which is something that can help those of you that may be feeling that you do need something personal.
Yeah, so we've also been guided to offer our combined efforts and guidance to people. So we've come up with a combined, what do you call it, like a combo of 2 hours with David, 2 hours with Bella, where we assess everything that David knows how to do, which is clearing. What else do you do?
Yeah, so we're calling this package Activating the Grail Within. It's really just a conjoining of what me and Bella do, but this is the first time we've actually put our energies together in this kind of way, which is also kind of part of the Serpent and the Six-Pointed Star to offer it, because we have very different skill sets and they actually sit very well together, as you would probably imagine. So my kind of job really is to go into anything that needs to be cleared from the field, any kind of energetic root origins of trauma, maybe fragmentation of soul and other timelines, anything that is still stuck on the old paradigm timelines that needs to be brought forwards, and also a way of activating the inner awareness of self through being a mirror for those people that want to go through that process. And that really then allows the field to be brought back to a place of harmony, also with any really major outstanding issues being resolved, at least at the energetic level, and being brought into illumination and awareness. Yeah,
so it's a combination of like guidance and mentorship, where we'll be, David will be helping with that part, and I will be doing the biodecoding, which is go and see what still is blocking anything that has to do with your manifestation process, or any release that still needs to happen connected to any core wounds, programming, or anything from the past emotional healing that needed to be done. And also the Mayan, the Galactic Signature reading.
So in conclusion, really what we're doing is bringing together the energies that we've been working with ourselves for many, many years. And it's not going to be all in one session. 4 hours would be a little intense, I think, for any person. So they can be booked together through this special offer that we're going to give. Normally, we are going to charge $404 for this, but for the next week or so, we are offering special price, Bella, of
$340 for the sessions with both of us.
Right, and so also in that you will receive, as Bella said, the report on your Mayan activation and oracle, but also I'll be giving advice on maybe plants that are going to help you to do some of the final internal work, and also plants that can help activate the memories of your DNA, and perhaps how to start doing that by working with either your cosmology or your astrology in connection with Bella's Mayan
Or any
essence.
questions that you may have connected to all of the offerings that we have. We can help you with your stellar nations path, with the Mayan cosmology, with the geomancy part of things. So if you have any questions regarding any of the things that you've done with us, or any of the previous immersions even, we can cover all of those things in our private sessions.
Right, so that's really it, everybody. We hope that you will take up some of these opportunities. We offer them really because they work for us and they work for many of our tribe members, and we can see that the tribe members that have been with us on the journey and have done all of these things are now also, like us, looking at what's coming next. Yes, we still have some things to work through, sometimes physical healing, but it can feel good to know that actually at the energetic level, everything has been taken care of, and what now is happening is a sense of recalibration, realignment, and particularly in my case, putting one foot bravely in front of the other in a very thoughtful, mindful, and observational way. And so, Bella, do you have anything you wish to add at this point for the end?
That also you can have a session just with one of us.
Yes, that's true.
That's on the website if you want more information. And what we're saying here is we're going to be more kind of settled down for a while, and we'll be working more with one-to-ones with people and carry on our creative process, but from a more kind of settled down place.
Right, so the final thought there, and we'll put the details in the show notes, but also here on the screen, is that we do invite all of you to come over to our website, quantumplanet.world, sign up to the free tribal membership. It's free to join, it takes just literally like 20 seconds. And what that will do is then give you access to some of the free to join groups like the QPW tribe, where we are again going to be holding regular live calls. We have a number of different groups, each one connected to the different courses, and so the material shared in those live calls will be different each week. But we also want to be reconnecting with all of our tribe. It's been quite a strange year, I think, for many of us, and we've been doing these astral clearing sessions as a way of keeping in touch with the tribe, but many of you have not necessarily been part of that, and maybe because you're already in a good place. But we'd love to start reconnecting, and so as part of our settling down process, yes, we want to be able to reconnect more regularly. But in order to be kept aware of those and the dates and the times and the links, you need to be on our mailing list. And also, just to share, it's also our way of giving a platform that doesn't have to have us jumping through hoops like being on platforms like YT does here, because we have to meet certain criteria, we can't talk about certain things, we have to play algorithmic games, all of which we don't have to do on our own website. So we'd like to invite more of you to participate in our platform rather than us having to be bending rules here on somebody else's platform, so to speak. So please do take up the opportunity. The link is in the show notes and on the screen. So.
And we'll be giving more information about this, but we will be connecting with groups already in the area of Texas. Right, we'll be giving some talks, some workshops. So if you're interested, please send us an email if you're already in the area, if you already have your groups. So we'll tell you more about it in the next few weeks.
Right, and there are other plans in the pipeline. Both the oak and the dandelion, our time-traveling friends, are also talking to us at the moment and giving us a nudge to revisit their energies. Maybe they have some new teachings for us, all of which we're going to be sharing in upcoming videos and possibly live talks and online. So yeah, please do sign up, keep abreast of what we're up to. As always, we are a tribe. We have many beings who've been with us for a while now, and it's really nice to feel like we shared a journey, even though most of us have never met in person. Definitely feeling super connected to many of you brothers and sisters out there. And again, even through my accident, allowed me and Bella to connect to many of you in different ways. And again, just a huge level of gratitude for everyone that assisted in that process too. So I think that's it for today, Bella.
Thank you for your support, and we're ready to get into our next part of New Earth with lots of projects and ideas. So thank you for being part of the tribe.
In Lakesh, I am another you.
In Lakesh.